Good morning, everyone. I thought I'd do a quick rundown on the car and what was done to the FFV4 at Serccc on the past Sunday. That's just a couple of days behind us. It was fantastic, and only minor changes to get it to the point where basically ran the car without gooping the tyres and without heating the tyres, and it was on a shagged set of 34 M's on the black rims, which are those ones there. Now, I had a few people ask. I sent a video out, was as best as I could with the phone, while one of the other guys at the track was driving a car, a gentleman by Jade Miller. He's pretty good in 13.5, and this was the first time he was driving, actually the second time he was driving a car while I was trying to do a video of it going around the track as a reference to the changes that was done on the chassis. Now, very simply, this is what the changes were, and then running equal tyres front and rear, no softs and or extra hards on the front. Basically, that's all it was. The shocks running the Gold Spring with 575 oil, CST oil on the 3-hole pistons, and canted the shocks in 1 hole on the top, so they're at the lowest point, so they've got a little bit more angle to them. Okay, pardon me, it's cold out here in the workshop. The top of the car, top of the arms, I've run the Year Racing stiffeners because it does need it. I find it drives better with the stiffeners added to the car than just running the single arm from the top of the actual bulkhead to the actual knuckle. This does make a difference, and I recommend on pretty much all the other chassis chuck it on. A little bit of fuffing around to actually get it set correctly, because you've got to do your straight one first, then you do the back one. Make sure that that's nice and free when you do finish it off. 4 degrees caster as standard on the blocks, but I've got 1.5 camber on the front going in. So 1.5 in the front and 4mm as per normal. Now, with the suspension, I have added the chassis savers on this, which is 0.5mm, but I am going to add another 0.5mm on top. So it'll be 1mm spaces basically between the actual pivot points. So you raise the arms but drop the chassis, so the center of gravity goes down but the roll center goes up. So they will be, I think that's correct me if I'm wrong saying that anyway. So I'll have 1mm underneath the actual pivots for the balls. That 0.5mm added to it did make a difference to the way the car handles, much better, and I reckon going to 1 will make it even better again. Gearing, not consequential, because every country and every basically, how would you call it, club might have their own rules on gearing. We here in Australia run a 13.5 just stock as a control motor with a control ESC set on 0. These are the censored G2 13.5 fixed timing motor, so there's no timing to play that can be played with it. But the car's as fast as a touring TC. It is mental, and I know they run 17.5 overseas, so this is shitloads more acceleration, shitloads more top end speed. So getting the chassis to be stable and controllable was the defining factor of what had to be done. And with the changes, as I clear my eyeball, the changes made the car much more stable, and you could push it hard. The only thing I'm still having an issue with on very fast sweepers where you hold the throttle continuously is at a point it'll have a snap oversteer. So and I think the change on the front with the extra 0.5mm will actually take that away. It'll actually make it work very well. Nothing special on the speed controller or the motor. Speed controller and motor is on a basically piece of Lexan, and then just underneath the actual servo. So when you look at that, it's basically just a piece of Lexan cut out that I stick down the ESC, and then I stick down the actual receiver on that side. So, and then that's placed underneath the servo, so then it just holds it into place. So you can take it out, nice and easy, not hard at all. good compromise to actually get the weight as low as possible. Now, weights on the car, I have added weights as per Larry's recommendation. I've got weights here, which is 5, 5 and 10, just inside there on the back of the servo. So I've got 20 grams there, but I also have an extra 2 weights right at the back on the underside of the actual arms. Now these are 25 each, so it's 50 grams right at the back end on the underside of the actual flipper. This car is, on our rules, grossly underweight, and the best place to put the weight is at the back of the actual chassis. So that's what we've done on this. So 50 grams here, 20 grams there, that's 70 grams. I think from memory, I'm, on our rules, I think I'm about 5 or 10 gram over, which is fine. There's no issues there at all. Now, on the rear of the car, the front's done, that was easy. So there's not much stuff down on, really critical stuff done on this. It's just the roll center spaces underneath the actual pivot ball suspension, the air racing arms, which do make, the top arms, which do make a big difference. I like these. These are nice and easy to put on and adjust, no issues at all. Spacers underneath the actual, basically pivots, the points on the actual top. 2mm and 2mm, so they're 2mm on each. And on the inside one, I've gone to the hole furthest on the actual block, so it's the longest I could make the actual arm. So the arm is actually quite long, but 2-2, all right? So just remember that. 2mm, 2mm, and furthest in. On the rear, losing my voice today. On the rear, I've actually put the strengtheners, if you want to call them, on the underside, not on the top side, to drop the weight as low as possible, and that did work. And as I said previously, 50 grams, so 25. On the actual rear wheels, I've added shims underneath the outside hole to give it 1 degree in. So it's 1 degree camber in. Cast doesn't change, it's just camber, 1 degree camber, all right, on the rear. They just stay as they are. Shock, same as per the front. The shock is, pardon me, I'm having a good day here, aren't I? Might have to have another coffee in me, I think. Now the shock is on the rear, 575 3-hole, just as the front, but running the silver spring. The yellow was way too soft. This is better. On acceleration, it doesn't squat on the rear as much because there's more load on the spring. And I find that coming out of a corner, you can mash the throttle as hard as you like, and it's dead straight, rock solid. With the orange, you'd wanted to shimmy a little bit. So going back to the actual silver one, big difference. Love it, no problem at all. The only thing I would change on this, which is a factor because of what I have done as per Larry's recommendations, is underneath the actual mounting point here for the bottom of the shock is a 1.5. Is it 1.5? No, sorry, my apologies. 2mm spacers on the underside of this, so it actually drops the shock further down. Again, more weight down further. It actually does work. I can't explain the difference, but it gives a little bit, well, if you want to call it preload on the spring, yes or no, but it does make the arse into the car a lot more stable, especially coming into a corner. So 2mm underneath that, but the cup itself, the spring seat, you might have to change for the +3 one, because what's happened is with that, it's come really close to touching the bottom of the actual flipper on these edges, on that edge there and on that edge there. So you might have to change that to the +3. Currently now, as long as I don't change anything, that's got about absolute minuscule clearance. But just to be on the safe side, you can put the +3 on the bottom there. Okay. Now the flipper, I have tried the solid, and this is our version here, which is the split version with the larger holes to have less chance of it splitting at a sharp point. But that's the split flipper. Now, yes, it did a little bit of a difference. Allowed for a little bit better flex on the rear, but realistically, I tried it with the standard solid one. I couldn't find that much of a difference. I couldn't feel it. Maybe someone more, better than me as a driver, because I'm mediocre at the best of times, and then I have my days of brilliance that I amaze myself and people around me, and then I have my mediocre days again. but I didn't find a big difference with this. I've left it on just to keep trying and testing on the different tracks that we have here, because Serccc is a low to medium grip track in cold weather and a high grip track in hot weather. So now we're in winter, we're coming to winter, and it is cold. At the moment it's about 4 degrees outside, about 7 degrees here in my workshop, so I'm cold as. And at the track on Sunday, as I mentioned, it was averaging out about 15 degrees on the tarmac at the sunny points, and on the shaded areas it was around about maybe 7 to 8 degrees. But towards the end of the day it got up to about maybe 19 degrees on the sunny points of the track when the sun was out for a longer period of time than what it normally was. So 2mm silver 575, slow the action down, so actually dulling out the shock movement. That's worked really good. That's made the car really good on the rear. Long wheelbase as well, prefer it. The weight further back gives it more stability going further, gives it more turn in, but the problem is that the car will, depending on how you set it up, will want to snap into a corner too harshly. All right. The tyres were the black +2 34Hs with, I think from memory, pink inserts. And these were the best choice on the day. I did run the radials, which are the TP radials, but man, these things have got bite. Far out. Front and rear made way too much bite, needed to dull the car down, and the actual slicks dulled it down more than the radials did. Mental, I don't know why, but that was the case on Sunday. So I ran these for the rest of the day just to play around with the car and see what it does. They're the changes on the chassis. There's nothing special, nothing fantastic. As I said, front changes, rear changes. Ride height, I ran 4.5 on the front, and 5.4 on the front, and on the rear ride height, taking it from this point here, I ran 5.6. Now droop on this on the track was from ride height 2.5mm, about 2.5mm from ride height. I will change that, pardon me, I will change that to about 3mm. I'll actually give it a bit more droop on the rear coming up to the next race meeting at one of the other clubs to see what it does, which is a low to medium grip track again as well, but different surface, straight at asphalt, no painting, no nothing, ground back, so it should be okay. But I'll try that with a little bit more droop because it's got a lot tighter corners, and I want to actually have more bite on the front coming in. Serccc was really good because it's a flowy track, so I'll give that a little bit more droop. Servos, standard DCS, the plastic one, that does the job really good. I've left the actual arm to plastic, preference, you can put an alloy one if you wanted to. Fan 30mm, mounted exactly where it's supposed to be. I see guys actually mounting it even lower. On the body that I'm using, I can't, I've got to leave it there. Gearing is ours, which is I think for something 4244 or something like that. Sensor wire, I've run basically a 275 sensor wire, 275mm long sensor wire, but what I've done to actually make sure it's clean, and you guys can do it too, is twist it. This is one with the actual braids unglued or unattached, so when you twist it you actually give it a bit more strength, and also you actually shorten it as you braid it up, or basically twist it, so it's a nice clean feed from speed controller to motor. Wires I've left at the top. Yeah, I know everyone's going through here to make it lower and all that type of stuff. I'm just lazy. That's a lot more work that I really don't want to do, so I've left them at the top and it works fine. There's no issues. Taking a diff in and out is no issues. Connect, take off, connect, disconnect 4 screws, flip it over, and the wires don't get in the way and it comes off nice and easy. Differential, that's right, yes. Differential, I've gone to 300,000 in the diff, and it has actually tamed the car down again a bit more, so you can throw it harder into the corners, and it's still got rotation. There's no issues there at all. It just basically doesn't have that aggressive feel to it, so you can actually drive it on the wheel instead of being like tippy-toeing all the time. The steering rates currently at Serccc is at 48%, so not a lot of steering at all. It's not like it's going left to right like that. It's more, you know, very gradual steering, and it still bites and runs and does really good. I can go to 52, but then it bites even harder. So I've left it at 48, and it feels really nice. As the day progresses and the grip comes up and the car needs more rotation and everything's great, then I'll go to about 52, 54, but nothing above that at all. It's running brilliantly at a really low rate. Pardon me. Brakes, your choice, because every track's different and how you come into a corner. I drive with very minimal brake, but I brake well before the corner to set the car up for the corner, so then I can drive it through the corner without having to stop and then drive. I just literally drive straight through. That's a driving style that a lot of people can't get used to, but that's just the way I drive. Car's fast though, which is really good. I'm happy with that. And Jade had a really good run, very good run on Sunday after the actual meeting, just circulating, and that's why the actual video on us Race Op support is on, and people have commented. So they're my changes. Nothing fantastic, nothing out of the ordinary, just basic changes. Roll centers, top eye arms, so roll center shims. Top eye arms 2mm to 2mm, half to 1.5 at the bottom here. Sorry, at the bottom here. 4.5, 4.6 ride height. Oils are 575 all the way through, 3-hole piston. Silver springs on the rear, gold springs on the front. Hole furthest in. Okay, not out, in. It just makes the car feel so much nicer to drive. Very progressive steering. What else? 2, 5, 5, 5. No, that's it. Nothing special. That is the actual setup. I can write it down, but hopefully that explains it nice and quick and easy, so you guys can get an idea of what it can and can't do. Now, next run will be at 2 different services. One is an old tennis court, which has been cleaned down. It's quite nice. And the other one will be at a more like a prepared asphalt surface that is dead flat. So that'll be interesting to see how it goes there. Keep informed. I'll give you an idea what it does at the next race meeting, but I won't be changing the car at all. It'll be staying as is. Oh, the last thing I forgot about it is actual droop on the front. Droop on the front is actually quite excessive. From ride height up, it's about I think the droop from memory, without me getting my measuring tools out, is I think about 4.6 on droop on the block. So if you put your blocks on and at the actual bottom of the actual suspension block, where's the alloy portion where your knuckle sits, it's about 4.6, 4.8. So lots of droop. But we'll change that as we go along, depending on the track, and see what it does. Got a question? Drop us a line, give us a follow, see how we go. Like to try some other ideas from overseas. I don't know how this is going to go in your track, because if you have a high grip track, get the CG even lower. Got to kill that CG so it doesn't roll as much. Now, the last thing I forgot. Oh God, I'm forgetting so many things. The last part of it I forgot. Definitely a harder sway bar on the front. Because the weight on these is so high, I want to stop as much roll as possible. It doesn't need all that body roll. So instead of running the long, hard sway bar, I've gone to short 1.6. And yes, it made it better. I am going to go to a 1.8, short 1.8 for the next race meeting, just to see if that actually takes away even more body roll. Now, progressing on, because I keep forgetting all these little bits and pieces. So that's the sway bar, okay? The body that I've been running is the very mundane, very sedate, very easy. This is the Blitz Mark 1 EK9. There's Mark 2, which is better, but until this body is absolutely flogged out, I will be running that body to gauge the car. There are bodies out there that do give more front bite, which is good for the mid-engined versions, but I want to get a sedate body on this with the less front bite, because this has excessive front bite. It has very little push. It has a lot more front bite. The wing is, and I can't remember where it's come from, but the wing suited the body quite nicely. It's not the EK EK9 wing at all, but I can't remember which one it was, but it actually suits it quite nice. It's just on level with the body at the rear, but it has a dip here which allows the airflow to catch into the actual rear of the wing. It's made a little bit of difference. I wouldn't say a lot, but it has tamed down the bum of the car quite nicely. So that's the Mark 1 EK in cartoon livery, as best as a guy with a black texture can do these days. So there you go. Hope that's informative. Drop us some more messages on the comments below. I'll link this to the RACOP page, and I'll also link this to the Team Powers AU page so people can actually have a look, and then you can share and go crazy, go nuts, or go home to your friends, and by all means, ask me questions, give us a comments. If I've missed anything, please do ask and I'll try and fill you in. They are the changes: oils, shocks, sway bars, spacers, droop, ride height, and all that type of stuff. Not big changes, just minimal. The only big change, as mentioned, is the split flipper on the back. But as I said, I tried that with the chassis with the fixed version, and I couldn't gauge that much of a difference. I might be a bit numb on the fingers. Anyway, take care. That's enough of me babbling. Thank you very much for your time. Thank you very much for allowing me to give you the information that's here, and take it on board and give it a shot and see what happens. Take care, guys. Have a good day. Bye, y'all.